we are ready in 5, 4, 3. I just heard a click. What the fuck's
No,
going on?
it was mine, but it was just me touching it. It wasn't the actual click.
Okay, are we ready now?
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2. What? You son of a...
Damn it! Now I gotta fucking.
Did we really have to stop? Okay, I stopped.
Yes, I didn't start it.
did
I
it
heard a
with
click.
my
I heard a
mouth.
click.
Click.
Oh,
I
you
did that with
dirty
my
fuckers.
mouth.
Click.
Here we go. Are you ready, Woody?
Yes.
Are we ready, DJ?
Yes.
Jeff, I don't have to ask you because you're the only one not being a dick right now. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. And we're up and running, bitches.
I was waiting for a 5, but all right.
No, he's like, 1, bitches, go.
Go!
All right.
Welcome to the Shufflepod. I'm Woody.
Hey, I'm George.
I'm DJ.
And I'm Jeff.
Oh man, so it's been
We're all
it's been a
here.
couple weeks and we're all here.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
This
It's
is
been cool.
good. Is
Cool.
anything here? Let's break the ice. Woody survived a major illness,
I did. I'm a survivor.
and
He
tell
did.
us what it was like.
It was. It was the
he,
HIV.
he had
was
the
rough.
HIV.
I did, but
Damn dirty
luckily
needles.
Magic Johnson's a pretty close friend of mine, so
Well,
he
good.
shared
So-
with me the secret.
So was the 24-hour version.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Now, did you just like every other person get AIDS by butt sex, or
Well, of course.
yeah, because it's a sin, right?
Right.
You've
Right.
come to realize that.
Yes, yeah. I was being punished. God was punishing.
That's
He prayed it away.
he did.
And
He
that's
prayed
how
away
I
the
pray
AIDS.
away too. So that
Uh,
and bleach.
Woody was on a ventilator for 4 days.
but that's normal.
Sure,
It's just
it was
how
up
he's
his
born.
ass, but
It's called
you
a
know.
CPAP. It's called a CPAP machine.
Well, mine's a little advanced. It's more of an iron lung.
So, in all seriousness, Woody, you had COVID.
Yeah,
Tell
let me-
us about it.
I mean, this is the craziest thing. So, it was a couple weeks ago on a Tuesday. I was at work. It was about 3:00. I usually get off about 5, and we had pretty much finished with everything we had done for the day, and just kind of last 2 hours was just kind of waiting for waiting for the clock to hit 5. But my wife sent me a text message, and she's like, "Hey, I just tested COVID tested at work because she works in a nursing home, and she's like, I think it's positive." And I'm like, "What do you mean you think it's positive? Like, is it positive or is it not?" And she's like, "Well, I
Came
have
up with a plus, or did it have a minus? Did it have a...
Dude, it looked like a pregnancy
it honest to
test.
God, it looked like a pregnancy test."
I'd say it
Woody
had a
sent
little-
to me and I thought Melissa was pregnant.
It
Did
had a
you
little
have to-
baby on it. I don't know.
Did you have to pee on it, or?
No. Let me see if I can find the picture here. Yeah, here it is.
Oh, because that's
If I
good
can
for
show you guys.
podcasting.
Well, I'm recording, so it's fine.
But yeah, there's
okay.
like 2 little lines. So
Okay.
she sends me that, and she's like, "Well, it says if it has 2 lines that it's positive." And I said, after I made the pregnancy joke, maybe you're pregnant and stuff. She's like, "Stop it, I'm crying," and I'm like, "Okay." So as soon as this
That's
started
'cause I'm
happening,
so hilarious.
oh, yes, 'cause I'm hilarious. She just doesn't get my sense of humor.
Because in
Um,
1918 they made jokes like that too.
Yeah.
Right.
They just did it while wearing those big beak masks. They're like,
Right.
haha, look at you.
Oh, look, I stuffed it with flowers so I don't have to smell the dead.
The plague? Maybe you're just pregnant. But anyways, so like as soon as she sent me this, I started getting like this tickle in my throat, and I'm like, okay, this is obviously psychosomatic.
It
I'm
is, yeah.
working myself up. This is ridiculous. You just
I
calm
don't
down.
think it was though, because he immediately started.
So this was Tuesday, right? And then finally about 4:00, after waiting an hour, she sends me back and she's like, "Hey, it was positive." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, I'm calling my boss. I'm gonna wipe everything down with Clorox wipes, everything I touched, and call my boss. And I'm gonna leave. Because if she's got it, I've got to quarantine as well."
Right.
So they're like, my work's like, "Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you test or not because
You're already there.
yeah, you have to quarantine anyways. You could get it in tomorrow. You can get it the next day. You might
Right.
not have it now, but you can get it, because she has it." So I said, "Okay." So I went home, and then the so the way my house is set up, I have like two living rooms, and the bottom living room is like kind of my kids' video game room and stuff, and it's got like a little bedroom next to it with a bathroom in there and everything. So we just put my wife down there, you know,
In
and
the slave quarters.
right, we locked
As
her
you
in the
do.
cellar. Yeah, and the dog, my dog just absolutely loves my wife. Doesn't like me. Doesn't want anything to do with anybody but
Like
her.
anybody.
Yeah, and he's like pacing up at the top of the stairs trying to get to her, and
Can dogs get COVID?
they can, but they
They
can't
can
get
carry,
it.
right?
Right.
I'm sorry?
They can get it, and they can get sick from it, but they can't give it to people.
They're not
Oh, okay,
carriers.
so why didn't you put the dog with her?
She didn't want it. She didn't want to get him sick because he could get sick and like get
Yeah,
sick.
okay.
You know.
I see. Yeah. Well, your
Oh,
dog would have.
Dog ventilators are very
Yeah.
expensive.
They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Um, so he's going just crazy. He won't eat. He won't go outside. Nothing. He just wants to stand at the top of the stairs. You know, we got like a baby gate up so he can't get down there and just like stare at her.
Because he's the only one in the house that's currently worried.
No.
Is
No,
Melissa okay now?
It depends on your opinion of okay. I mean,
Health wise.
Here's the reason I'm
it
asking.
is a fiddle.
Here's the reason I'm asking. I haven't heard from her at all.
Mm-mm.
And the other day on Amazon, you ordered a gravestone.
Did you see what the name of the gravestone was?
It was a
wasn't
generic name that you have
Melissa,
to customize.
Right. It was Claire. It was my parents' dog died.
And we noticed you dug a hole in your backyard for some reason.
Right.
Because you guys thought I was joking about that, but he genuinely ordered a gravestone on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can order a gravestone on Amazon.
For real.
You sure can, yeah. Yeah, it's
Wow.
I ordered one for my dog Valentine when she passed away, and so my parents were like,
how
"Hey,
much do those run?
about $30."
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
Now that I know this, next Halloween is going to be fucking awesome.
They look like they're just little like marble squares.
That's fine.
Yeah, they're plaques that you set down into the ground.
I will dig little fucking patches in my yard and just place them everywhere. Fucking rows. Just put a pet cemetery up front, a real one in the back. It's gonna be great.
So
Fucking
that's
kids forever.
that's Tuesday, and so she stays down there Tuesday night and everything, and the kid's going crazy. He's thinking his mom's gonna die. We all might die. And
Well, you
Did
had
he
him
get it?
pick out her gravestone on Amazon.
right. Yeah.
There's good reason for that.
It's like,
Yeah.
come here, boy. We're gonna do a little task.
Yeah.
Which one do you think mommy would like?
I mean, that's fun.
Just be on the safe side.
Just gotta plan ahead.
But
Yeah.
so Wednesday, I had already had a doctor's appointment that I had to call in and make make it a phone appointment because if they didn't want me coming in there if I had COVID.
Right.
So Wednesday, I talked to the doctor and she's like, you've got it. She's like, if your wife's got it and she's in the house, you've got it. And I'm
Yep.
like, okay. I said, well, I've had just a little bit of a scratchy throat, I go, but I think it's all psychosomatic. She's like, that. She's like, you have it. She's like, but just for your work and things like that. She's like, if you want to come in and take a test, she's like, we can do that in the parking lot. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So
That's where he gets his prostate examined too.
yeah, right, behind the dumpster.
Just pulls up, sticks his ass out the window.
You're not even my doctor.
Right.
They send the janitor out. They're like, you got this one. It's all fine.
He's
So,
like,
So Thursday, I go in and get the swab test, and it came back positive. It took a couple of days, but after I had talked to the doctor, I told the wife, I'm like, this is ridiculous. She says I've got it. There's no point in you staying down here and me having to do all the cooking and stuff. So
Seems
yeah,
fair.
she came back up, and
So he moved the stove downstairs. He's like, come on.
but yeah, so then Thursday night, so she had her symptoms were she had a mild headache and just maybe some little body aches and stuff like that. It wasn't crazy at first, But then Thursday, after I had taken the test, like I went down fast. I got chills. I got body aches real bad, real
Quicker
bad.
than a horror in the truck stop.
I'm telling you, it was fast. I fell asleep on the couch. I fell asleep on the couch with like a blanket on, and my wife's like, "Hey, it's 10 o'clock. You want to go to bed?" And I'm like, "All right."
Nope.
So I took the blanket off, and I was so cold, trying to like run up the stairs to get into bed. I was nauseous. Like I wanted to throw up. That's how cold I was. Like chills
Holy
were
crap.
that bad.
Wow.
And I got into
You're a
bed.
bitch.
It was bad. I've never had anything that bad before. And I'm trying to move around to like warm up underneath the blankets because you got jumping in a cold bed. And like I finally got to the point where like I had warmed up enough, but like every time I moved, it was cold again, and it would just send chills all through my body, and I'd want to throw up. And I was running a fever. And then real bad fever dreams. You know how you get those fever dreams? And,
Yes.
yeah, it was horrible with that. Then the next morning, I was real weak, but the fever had broke, and I was
But that's
all right.
just normal,
I
right?
was gonna say like more than usual.
Yeah, it was. I really couldn't do much of anything. I just kind of laid around, and then Melissa started getting a high fever and all that, and
So she got the fever after you did.
after I did, yeah.
Huh.
So sounds like you got it first.
And then we had that really bad windstorm. You guys remember that? It was
Jesus.
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had that bad windstorm, and it knocked the power out of our house for 3 days.
Oh wow.
Holy shit!
So
mine was out for 16 hours. It wasn't 3 days. That's nuts.
Mine never went out.
Mine
So,
neither. We're
didn't-
very rich people.
You're the
didn't
affluent
have-
neighborhoods.
because I have well water. After my tank finished out, we had no running water. We had no
Yep.
heat.
Oh, that
You know,
sucks.
nothing. So I was like,
If this were to happen to George, he'd be like, "It's here! It's here! I'm ready!" He's gonna
I'd
break
ended
out
up
his
shooting
fucking,
the family.
his clean water straw and start drinking his piss.
I'd be in the creek, gathering water into my shorts and stuff.
oh,
He'd be
shit.
so excited.
Honey, it's time.
So
It's
we
what
had
we've been
no-
planning.
It was Sunday that the power went out. We stayed in the house Monday till Monday, and at that point it was just getting ridiculously cold. And I'm like, you know what? My aunt has recently passed away, and she left me the house and everything in Brooklyn, Ohio. And so I was like, fuck this. Let's just pack everything up because we can't go to like a relative's house or anything like
Right.
that. You know, like I'm like, let's just pack everything up. We'll go to Brooklyn. Hopefully she'll have, there'll be power there. And so we did. We packed everything up and went to Brooklyn, and it was like power and heat and all that stuff. And stayed the night there Monday night, and it still had internet. Like I haven't paid the cable bill at that house since January.
Did they have Spectrum?
No, it was AT&T. But I think it was because of this whole COVID thing.
It is,
where they're not allowed to shut off the power and the water and all that. Now I've been paying
because when I talked to you, you said you didn't have it, but you probably didn't even check yet.
I didn't. But when we were there, I looked at my phone and I'm like, I'm on a Wi-Fi signal. I'm like, how the fuck is this? So then I'm like, well, maybe it's just picking up the signal from the router, but it's not actually connecting to the internet.
Right.
And my phone's using cellular service. So I turned the cell service off, and it was still running on it. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I grabbed my kid's iPad and I found the Wi-Fi password on the side of the side of the router, and I typed it in, and sure as shit, it just popped right up.
Huh.
Nice.
So I was like, all right, well, cool. At least we have, all I had was antenna television, but and an old original Nintendo Entertainment Center.
Nice.
Original NES with and I had bought a game for like I think $20 on Amazon that has like 150 games on it. You put it right
Yes.
in, and it's got it's just got all the games on it.
Nice.
So so we played that for a while, and then when once I figured
So
out.
when you called the old Nintendo Entertainment Center system, sorry,
Yeah.
you call it a NES?
Yeah, NES.
Yeah, we just call it NES.
Why? It's called Nintendo NES. Everybody called it NES since it came out for
Oh my
decades.
Nobody calls
Decades.
it Nest.
Everybody
Nobody
called it NES.
calls it NES.
Everybody I knew called it NES. Everybody.
Maybe
Yeah,
it-
Well, like it's a Nintendo. It's a NES.
If you
Nintendo
look on
Entertainment
the-
System.
Yes.
If you look on the like on any of these YouTube things on the internet, like people now playing like the old systems, they all call it the NES.
Yeah.
They all do.
Well, you're comparing the new young idiot generation.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
They don't know. We
the
always called it
generation
the
I like to
NES.
call should have been a blowjob.
Well, the whole reason we just
Exactly.
called it the Nintendo back then is because that
Right.
was the only one there was.
Yeah, but once Super
Right.
came out, it just became the NES.
Came the NES.
Yeah.
The NES.
See, even Jeff admits it now.
No, I agree. It is the No, I'm saying it is the NES. It was the
Jeff
Nintendo
doesn't
Entertainment
even know
System.
when he's lying anymore.
But we always called it the NES because why are you going to put the extra effort in the fucking NES? It's NES. It's done. Just like GIF. It's GIF. You don't call it a GIF. It's a GIF or a GIF or a FIF or whatever the
well,
fuck
I
you want
would
to call it.
call
It's a GIF.
But it's actually a GIF, but that's not the
Yeah.
point.
Sorry.
It's a GIF.
It's
Nice
not
phone
GIF.
call.
Jif is peanut butter. It's a gift.
Yes.
No.
Right. So we're gonna settle this once and for all. The guy that it came up with the anagram for the word said he doesn't give a fuck. It's either way. But when it came out, it's graphics, which is a G, hard G, not a J.
Right.
So it's G. That's what
So
it
it's
is. It's
GIF.
not. It's not pronounced
The guy-
GIF
the
because
guy
it's got an.
that
Hang
came
on.
out with it
Hang
said-
on.
The guy that
He
came
said
out with
he
it
doesn't
said
care.
He doesn't give a shit, but he
Right.
came out and said, "I originally meant it as GIF."
No, he didn't. He said he
Yes, he
originally
did.
came out with. He intended it to be GIF, not GIF. But he said, I don't give a fuck how you pronounce it because
Well,
the
I call it
graphics is a
a-
hard G.
A
So there you go.
graphics card.
Graphics card. Yeah, I heard that excuse too. So anyway,
so
enough
anyways,
with the GIF.
So we're in Brooklyn, and we have I had already cleaned out the entire refrigerator because it just had stuff that had been sitting in there forever. So we'd already cleaned that up prior going in. So we had nothing to eat other than microwave popcorn.
You didn't bring the
So-
food from your refrigerator that was slowly getting warm.
No, it was too late. It was
Oh,
yeah. So what we did was I did that Target thing where you you go on the app and you order everything and then you just hit a button, opens up your trunk, and they throw it in and you take off. So that's how I got my groceries.
You mean
For-
pickup?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. I love it.
That Target thing. And he's like,
Wait a minute. Now,
explaining
what,
it in detail.
what do you mean you hit a
George
button
is
and
like-
it opens your trunk?
Well, in my car,
You
I,
open your trunk.
yeah. Actually, we took my my aunt's old not old, but well, I guess old, her handicap van, so that way we could take the dog and everything and stuff. There's a lot more room in there. But yeah, there's just a button that you hit and the tailgate opens up.
I
And
thought
then
you
you
meant
hit it
on the
again and it
app.
closes.
I'm sorry.
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
I was like,
So
that's
if you had a
that's pretty handy.
1975 Buick, you had to get out with the key and pop
Right.
and open the trunk.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But
Like my car.
yeah, yes. So,
yeah,
that was so super convenient. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
Walmart's the
Love
same
Tasha.
way.
Tasha does it at Walmart every week.
Oh,
Yeah.
does she?
You know what's even easier? Instacart.
else
They bring
she
it
does at
right
Target
to your
every
house.
week, or
I don't
whatever
like
it is.
paying the
heard that.
fees on Instacart.
Oh, I paid for the year because I already had like so many deliveries, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get there anyway. I paid the
How much
$100
is
yearly
that?
subscription. It's $100, but I've already spent that in delivery fees, so now I don't have to pay delivery fees.
All right,
for
so
the rest
what's
of the year.
Instacart? Explain this one to me. I don't.
It's
get
just
your
like what you did at Target, but they bring it to your house.
Now, see, we used Instacart when we were still kind of on a lockdown.
Right.
And the person that brought it, the one time she smoked in the car and
Oh,
drank one of our
wow.
hint waters.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, we got 11 hints, and we paid for 12, got 11.
That's some
Wow.
bullshit.
That's why
Where'd
they
you
have
get
the
it from?
rating on them.
Aldi's.
What's Insta? Oh, well, there you go.
That was my problem.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've ordered from them every other week since this started, so this whole year, and I've never had a problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
I've
sure
had a
it's
few
lot
people
like,
that are questionable, but most of them are great.
I'm sure it's a lot like Uber. It's like
Yeah.
the roulette of you
Right.
don't know who you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send
Like
a
I've
pizza
never
delivery.
taken an Uber myself. I don't know why.
What?
I'm kind of Well, because I don't really
I've never
drink.
Ubered. I've never Ubered in my life.
I just get blasted. And just
I know. I know.
I just get in with a beer. I'm like, let's go. Fuck it. It's like, you don't mind, do you? No?
Is
Cool.
it easy, like taking an Uber? Is it easy to get the
Super
car and
easy.
everything?
Oh, yeah.
Super easy.
George and I are so far behind the
I've done Uber and Lyft. I've got both
Yeah.
apps, and every time I need one, well, it's not a whole lot, but I mean, whenever I do
Yeah.
need one, I jump on the Uber app and I check the price, and then I jump on the Lyft app and check the price.
Yep.
Usually Lyft's cheaper, but not always.
This is how bad it is. We decided that we have immunity to the virus now for, they said, at least 7 months. Okay.
Okay.
When we've had to cancel 2 vacations already for last year, for 2020 this year.
Yeah.
So we decided we were going to go with we actually called George, your sister-in-law, and we're going to Universal in April. And
nice.
I know Disney has the automatic, like the magical bus or whatever the hell they call it, where it takes you, but
You can't carry it.
I'm sorry, what?
You can't carry it for 7
No,
months?
because think about it. Think about it logically. Like, if it gets into my system, it doesn't. It kills it off before it has time to multiply enough to where I can
Right.
transmit it.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So, well, anyways, so I had no idea how you get to the Universal resorts and stuff from the airport. You've got to either like hire one of their shuttles, which costs, or and then it could take you to 10 different locations before it takes you to the hotel.
Yeah, the magic bus then.
Well, it's kind of like that, yeah. But your sister-in-law was like, "Hey, we just always Uber, and it's like $30." And I'm like, I don't like Uber. So I started looking into like town cars and stuff like that, and it's like $70. But I'm probably gonna go that way, because that way
Uber?
it's just no town car. I'm probably gonna spend the extra money
Why?
just because it'll be there at the airport when I get there. It will
Ubers
take
are
me,
too. They wait at the airport.
Right.
It'll take me right to, okay, yeah, Uber is too, but I'm so leery about Uber. It's gonna
Why?
be
Who's
me,
driving your town car?
Right.
it's gonna be me, my wife, and my son. Okay, so like, how do I know that there's gonna be an Uber large enough to fit the 3 of us?
Because you put it in there.
You're at an airport. There is.
Right.
Yeah,
And it's
with
a
all
car.
of our luggage and everything.
You can select which car you want. Like, it gives you the option. So if you've got a lot of people, you can actually get Ubers for what, I think up to 12 people if you put it
I
in
think
right.
so.
So you can tell them how many passengers there are, and then
Yeah.
they send the right car. Or if somebody driving doesn't have the room, they just don't accept it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but then I gotta wait for another one.
No, you're
Okay,
at the
yes.
airport. You're not at your house.
plus
you're
you're at the
buying.
airport. Get a fucking taxi.
No, taxis would
No,
be just as
God,
much
they're-
as a
they're
town car.
expensive.
Yeah, they are expensive, but it's there. Why? I mean, I don't understand why you'd rent a car when you don't.
No, I'm
need
not gonna
to.
rent a car. I'm gonna have a driver in a town car
Oh,
come pick us up.
He's very
Yeah.
fancy. He can't have power,
very fancy.
but he can have
Can't
a driver.
have- It's like,
Can't afford the power, but
we don't do Ubers. I'm gonna have a limousine. Meet me outside.
I thought about a limo. I
James,
thought that would be,
James, over here.
I thought a limo would be pretty cool, would be fun. It's $140 each way though.
I
Well,
mean,
that's
fuck
only
it. Get a
twice
party bus.
That's only twice as
Invites-
much as the town car, which
Right.
is twice as much as the Uber. So
That's-
with Woody logic, why not?
And honest to God, TJ, that was my logic behind it. But my wife was like, absolutely not.
And you know what? We'll all fly down too, just so we can fill it out. You
Yeah.
gotta make sure you got enough passengers.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
So
I don't know, I just thought the kid.
you're
would,
doing that. So you're gonna have a town car waiting for you then?
I think that's the way I'm gonna go. Is it'll be a little guy with a sign saying Woody,
You can have it say Woody. I would.
I would.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
power. You're gonna do it. Power play it.
That's
Right,
right. He's gonna
absolutely.
have that guy's gonna have so many dudes be like, "Yeah, I'm Woody." I'm gonna
Take
say it.
Take it out of the Shufflepod money. business
Not a
trip.
bad idea. Not a bad
You
idea.
can always, you can write it
For-
off.
It's right. It's for
All right,
content.
fuck. Let me get my credit card. Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
do we got enough in that account that I can buy a gun yet?
Probably
Well,
depending on
depends
the
on the
gun.
gun.
Hey,
I mean,
I
I've been
didn't.
paying. And my wife even questioned it. She's like, "Why does $1 a month?" I go, "It's a savings account in the Shufflepod that I have."
It's
Well,
a.
do you
I think we
remember how
have
much
about
was in there?
between 400 and 500 in it, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I need a machete, damn it. I never got my machete.
I
and I'm
didn't get
paying
one either.
two.
Oh,
Who's
I'll
saying
get you
it?
your machete.
I'm getting my machete before he gets his gun. Machete, then gun. All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right, I
Deal.
can deal with
But sound car comes first. Sorry, guys.
town car, machete, gun,
For the star.
Starship Enterprise.
So,
Christ.
So.
So,
Oh,
but
are
then,
you done with your COVID?
no. So she was down with a real bad fever for, I would say, she says 12 days, but she's out of her fucking mind. It was like 5-6 days with a high fever, and
She was
and-
fever dreaming. What does she know?
right.
Stupid girl.
She doesn't know.
She was
that.
only as sick as I tell her she was.
So, but then, then you have to talk to the county board of health
Yes.
or Department of Health or whatever, and they have to like tell you that you can go back to work and all that. So, my wife got they call you because they get your test results. They call you, so they called
Yeah.
my wife and they said, okay, you can go back on this date. She's like, all right, and she's like, well, what about my husband? And they said, oh, well, he's gonna get his own call, but it's 10 days from the first symptom, and then then that came out to be where I was like, it was Monday of this last Monday, to where I could go back, and so I'm waiting on this call, and I never get the call from the health department, so I call them up, and I'm like, hey, I'm waiting on a call. I need I want to hear from you guys that I can go back to work. I talked to my wife talked to the one that that called her. They said that I should be able to go back on Monday. I said, but I want to hear it from you guys. And I'm like, because I work with food, and so they're like, okay, well, they're like, what's your name? And they take all my information, and they're like, we don't have a test result for you.
right, because you
What?
didn't get tested.
No, I did get
You
tested.
got
Oh, you
tested?
did get tested. You got
Yeah,
tested in the parking lot.
right. Yeah, the test.
The test.
Yeah.
Quotation.
Sure was.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be up the nose, but drop your
That's
drawers,
weird.
bend
It
over,
was
grab
right.
your ankles.
It was right down my throat. It was weird. It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Hey Jeff, you're gonna have a real hard time editing the barking of dogs in my.
It's fine.
So I
I'll get rid of
apologize
it.
already.
I'll just use one of your guns. It'll work. I mean,
So finally they never got my test results, I guess. So they took all the information off of the test that I got. They sent me a email saying that I was positive in that, and said I could go back on that Monday. So that's what I did. But then that Monday, I started seeing where like our numbers were at like 11,000 for the day for COVID test, positive COVID
Right.
test, and it was because there was some labs that weren't sending in all their results at once.
so they
I was-
weren't doing it over time. It was like all at one time. They're like,
Right.
oh, and today's results, well, it's probably a whole week or something. But yeah, that's fucked up.
Dude, this whole illness has been absolutely crazy.
Right.
The duration of it and everything. I really thought that it was being played up as a political thing.
Right.
But I kind of think it's worse than even maybe what they've talked about.
What? Yeah, worse than what everybody thinks it is.
Yeah.
Well, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
how bad it got at my wife's nursing home. It went from, when they I guess they admitted somebody from the hospital. The hospital sent them, said, hey, they're not positive. Here, here, take them. But they were positive. And so in a week's time, it went from one person having it to all of the residents but 8.
Oh
Damn.
my gosh.
And she said their it was like 20 some employees as well.
Yeah. That's
Wow.
fucked up.
It is. I mean, it ran through that home like crazy. So
That
there's
is nuts.
$530 in that account.
You guys got text.
I'm like everybody starts looking at their phones. I'm like, what's going on?
$530. That's not
So-
bad, guys.
So maybe I am getting a limo.
Dude,
I
you
see
should.
DJ.
You should get a limo.
I see DJ on his phone. I'm like, oh shit, he's got the kill order. He's got to go. He's like, I'm out. Pops up and
I could buy a new Glock.
Yeah, if that was all yours.
right.
Just give me
Wait.
the money.
Let me
I
let me
don't
check my
understand it.
statements.
There's a reason why only DJ and I have
Yeah,
have the
but-
numbers to this account.
Because I'd be doing cocaine with all that money.
Coke and horse.
Very responsive.
I mean, if that's the case, I'm flying to Vegas. Fuck it. Let's go.
Speaking of flying to Vegas, did anybody? I know it wasn't in Vegas, but they're normally in Vegas. Did anyone watch the fight last night? I know George.
I
did.
watched
No.
the replay of it.
It was a good fight.
It was a damn good fight. Now
I watched it on Periscope, so it was free.
yeah, I
Somebody was like,
believe it was a draw. I thought Mike
Yeah.
Tyson actually dominated the fight from start to
I
finish.
saw two independent scorers online that were legit things, like actual like news
Yeah.
organizations that cover this stuff, and Tyson won every round.
He
Every round went to Tyson.
absolutely destroyed Roy Jones. Now, it was cool to watch the way that the different stylistic approaches that they have to a fight, and it was nice to see how Roy still did his head movements and stuff, and he could make Tyson miss at the time, but dude, Tyson would just fucking tear at his body, and Roy Jones,
Yeah. At
Now
the
look.
end was like, yeah.
yeah, he's like, did you hear him when he was holding, and the ref's like, you got to stop holding, where you could hear Roy Jones go, I have to hold him, you know, because Tyson was like,
He killed him.
Tyson headbutted him a couple times.
Anybody's ear off?
And
No.
No.
actually, I really honestly think if it was a real fight and it wasn't, Tyson wasn't giving his purse to charity and it wasn't an exhibition, I
He'd
think
have knocked
Tyson
him
would have
out.
taken him out in the first
Yeah.
round. Absolutely. You
Tyson
could
gave
see
his purse to charity.
$10 million. Yeah.
Oh, I thought Tyson was broke.
No, not at
No.
all.
No.
He's got a weed farm and makes tons of money.
Oh, okay.
Dude,
I
Him
mean,
and Jim
seriously,
Belushi, or
he's-
John Belushi,
This
He
whole
does-
thing was done by weed
Yep.
or Jim Belushi. sorry.
weed something.
Yeah.
Weed
I
money.
forget what it was.
Look,
Forget what it was
I'm
called.
How
I'm
old
not a-
is Roy Jones?
sorry.
51.
They're 54 and 51.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tyson was older.
So I'm not a big boxing fan at all, but did they
Yeah.
fight back in the day?
No,
No.
they never got a chance to fight each other. All right, Tyson stopped, what, 19 years ago? Is that what they said?
It's been a long
15
time.
to 16 years ago. we'll
Okay.
say.
And then Roy Jones actually just fought 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
He fought over in Japan, and I think he won his last fight, but lost his last 4 prior to that. But it was actually more than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be like kind of like a boring spectacle.
Yeah,
with-
it wasn't. It was
um,
fun.
More
you
like
could
a
tell that
sparring
they
match.
both-
match.
Yeah,
The
you could
best
tell
part
that
of
they
the whole
both put
thing
work
was-
in.
The announcers were so terrible. They weren't real announcers. So
Well,
like
Mauro Ranallo
prior-
was real.
he was real. Prior to it, like on all the undercards and everything, they would show like the betting stats. And the one announcer he said, "What do you think of these numbers?" And the one announcer said, "Shit, I don't know anything about those numbers. Fuck them."
Wasn't that Snoop?
No, it was the other guy. It was the black guy on the far
Yeah.
end.
He's like, what numbers?
I don't
I don't know what
They
you're
were
talking
about
They
that.
were just
Dude, I
cussing.
thought Snoop did a decent job comparing
Snoop
it to.
did a
it's
decent
like
job.
It's like a couple of my uncles fighting in the backyard.
He said when,
How
when
did
they
they
were
not
going
have
at it and
Rogan?
hugging.
I mean, how did they not have Joe Rogan on this?
I
mean,
know.
It was
He's
weed,
UFC.
and it was fighting.
He's UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, but I
It
thought
would've
he's
been-
under contract.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a non-compete.
Right.
They
Oh.
did.
Agreement.
They did have a nice surprise for the undercards. They didn't have him, but all of a sudden, boom! there's Buffer in the ring.
Yep.
I knew
Now,
that was going to happen.
Means
Did
enough
you
for me to
watch
Rumble.
the Nate? Did you watch
Oh.
the Nate Robinson fight?
No, I missed
In the
all those.
Logan Paul?
I missed
Dude,
them.
I guess Logan Paul smashed him.
Yeah. I saw the replay of the knockout,
Isn't
which
that a
they call the
YouTuber?
TKO. Yeah. And this guy, the guy he fought has
The
never
YouTuber?
fought even an amateur fight.
Well, that
He's
was
an
Nate,
ex-NBA
Nate
player.
Robinson, yeah.
Yeah. He's an
And he had
ex-NBA
trained
player.
for a year and a half, they said.
Yeah, but he still never actually fought.
Sure.
I mean,
You know, I'm not a huge fight fan, but I would love to see Tyson go up against one of the MMA fighters because
Well, he was
they're all
supposed
over
to
the place.
fight-
I'm sorry, go on.
Tyson was supposed to fight. Was it Anderson Silva? Or
I
no,
don't
that
know.
was Roy Jones that was going to fight Anderson Silva. But they
Tyson's too old to do it now, I think.
I know, but it'd
Yeah.
be great. I just imagine him standing there and these guys like kicking and shit, and he's just like, "Come on."
Do
Like,
you think
no.
Tyson was on a performance-enhancing substance?
Yeah,
Last
weed.
night?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, because here's the thing. Now I know I'm out of line for saying that Roy Jones looked a little soft in the midsection,
He did.
because I'm a tub of shit. But
We all are except Jeff.
but the difference
I'm
is
getting there.
the difference was Tyson was fucking jacked out of his mind.
Yeah, he looked good.
He had like a six-pack almost. You could tell he was,
Really?
yeah, I mean, he looked like Mike Tyson from
Back in
20
the
years
day.
ago. I mean, it was.
Wow.
It was funny
Now,
when they'd go to the corners.
quite big.
Roy Jones was mouth breathing. He was going. And Tyson's just sitting there. At one point, Tyson wasn't even sitting because the stool wasn't out yet. He didn't care. He was just standing there.
No, I really think, and the difference of this fight was there were 8 2-minute rounds, so they were actually fighting under the female boxing rules, basically. For lack of better terms, female fighters fight for 2 minutes instead of 3. And I'm not saying that they were because they're bitches, but Mike Tyson
they
looked like
are.
he could have went 10 rounds. I really think
Wow.
that it would have been
He coulda.
interesting. It would have been interesting to see, though,
He
in
wasn't
watching
done.
the fight, if somebody was able to put pressure on Tyson, how much he would have actually stayed in that fight. I thought it was, like, as far as matchups go, it was a good matchup. Obviously, it favored Tyson because Tyson's the bigger, stronger guy. But he was digging at his body hard.
But he
What
was
do you
only
guys-
bigger by 10 pounds. He was an inch shorter with a 4-inch less reach. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much bigger. I mean, 10 pounds isn't that much.
I got a
Well,
question for you guys.
yeah,
I
what, do you,
sure.
shit 10 pounds.
what do you guys think of like these like what do they call that? We're like the whole gender, like a man who has surgery to become a woman, transgender. Gets into is in like
AKA
a
You
sporting.
didn't know the word transgender?
Sinners.
I did.
Yeah,
I
I
just
call
couldn't
him-
think of it at the
He
second.
calls them sinners.
But like,
The devil's children.
so what is your guys' opinion on this? Because like I don't know.
There was a transgender UFC fighter or MMA fighter, not a UFC fighter, named Fox Fallon. Okay.
So was born a man, had surgery to
Yes.
become a woman.
Yes.
Okay.
And they. It wasn't Strikeforce. It wasn't UFC or Bellator. Okay. It was one of these lower tier organizations. All right. And I can't remember which one it is. They actually let her fight females and just she just demolished them.
See, anything with Olympics and combat sports, or hell, not even combat sports, just skiing, any kind of sport, I think you should have to compete in whatever your chromosomes tell the test.
You know what?
That's what
agree.
I think.
Is there really that huge a gap?
Yes, in every.
No.
I mean, I remember that whole NBA and WNBA and the WNBA going around playing at basketball
High
courts
school.
around the country. And
Playing high
And then-
school teams and not even winning them all.
right.
Yeah.
So it's like that in pretty much every sport.
Yeah, see,
Yes.
I'm on the other side. I think they should get rid of the gender roles in sports and just let everybody play together.
I don't
because
agree.
The-
You're
well,
paying
let me
money.
explain.
You're paying,
The
you're paying
reason-
money to watch.
yeah, you're paying money to watch men. Doesn't matter. My point is, if you let everybody play together, that separation of how good they are disappears because now you're playing with more people that are
Not if it's an
at your level.
individual. Not if it's
No.
an individual.
Not if it's
sport.
individual. Not if
It
You'd
it's
have to
individual. But
regulate.
hang on.
You'd have to regulate like 2 women on the court at all times in basketball, 3 women on the field at all times in baseball. You'd have
Why?
to regulate that because otherwise, no one would ever make it. You'd never make the team.
I'd agree with that, except my
They're
daughter's
allowed to play.
friend is a female wrestler at her high school, and she does really well.
Okay, okay.
If they will
at
kick
high
it up to
school
the
level.
college level, she won't.
Right. Yeah.
you don't know that because
go
there
away.
aren't any women in the college level. Well, there might be 1 or 2 now, but that's my
Yeah.
point. Is it's been
But she
separated
can't
for
face
so
the
long, we don't
guys.
know. She
can't
does. She
face-
wrestles men. There are no other girls on her team or the other
in
team.
college. She's not going to. She's just not. I mean, we had the first ever
We don't know.
female kicker yesterday.
And that
Mhm.
was because, and she kicked. She wasn't
Yeah.
a lineman.
Right.
She wasn't a
Right.
running back.
So right.
She
I'll tell
was
you
a
what, though.
kicker.
I've seen some women. I wouldn't want to face them if they were linemen.
No, but you're
I
not.
have seen some
but
women.
you're not a professional athlete.
I understand
Right,
that,
Right.
but you guys
I mean,
are
they would destroy any of the 4 of us. But
right.
when you're
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
I'm-
the best of the male race,
Well, maybe the 3 of you.
Right. But you know what? And
True.
but you guys are also forgetting that if these women were in those positions, like wrestling or they've got women that wrestle men in the WWE or whatever. But
That, Jeff,
if
that's
you've
not
got-
real.
I know, but if you put them in there, they're going to be doing the
So,
same.
actresses.
They're going to be doing the same steroids that the men are. They're going to be doing all the same shit. So if it were an equal playing field, I just think there wouldn't be that big of a gap.
In a non-contact sport, I can see where you're coming from. Okay, any sport that is a contact sport, football, rugby, boxing, MMA,
Golf.
there is no. It's, you can have. Could you say, and I mean zero disrespect. I'm being 100% serious. I mean zero disrespect to women's sports.
Same
anything,
here.
okay?
Same here.
But you have a male that is an elite athlete at a football
Right.
level, okay?
Right.
And a female who is an elite cornerback, let's say, all
Right.
right? And you have an elite male defender, like a wide receiver, okay?
Right.
It's just physics that male is going to outperform
But
the
it's
female because
not.
he's bigger, he's faster, and he's stronger at that time.
That's
Now-
why even like in track and field, the women's times and the
They're-
men's times
yeah.
are different.
So
And
you
there's a
guys are,
significant gap there.
you guys remember Felix, right? He was a
Yes.
football player for the
Yeah, played
Browns back
safety
in the
for the
90s.
Browns. Yeah.
He was amazing, right? He was a really good player.
Yes.
He was my size. My
Yeah.
size. Now.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what's the difference between a woman who's bigger than me playing that position? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
I get
there's-
where you're coming from. I understand what you guys are
The
saying, but
speed isn't there.
and it's
why? Because
look,
she's a woman?
Is okay.
That's
yeah.
what I don't get.
If you took
Go look at
most-
Olympic times.
If you
These
took
guys
the
don't have
most
Olympic
elite,
times.
your argument is watered down, and here's why I feel. Okay, if you took the most elite female athlete in the world and put her against Felix Wright,
Right.
there is a chance
She
could
would
beat him,
probably win.
okay,
Right.
there's a chance because Felix Wright was not the elite male athlete
Right.
that we have today.
Right. And I get yes. And your guys are strictly saying the elite. Well, everybody on that football field is not elite. Not every one of
Bullshit.
them.
No,
Yeah.
Half of
In
them
the
barely
NFL.
made the draft.
In the
every
NFL.
Holy
yeah.
Christ.
football
In the
player
NFL,
in the
seriously?
NFL
Yeah.
is the top 1% of all football players.
Do you watch
in
the
the
Browns play
world.
football?
The reason
Just you
they might
watch
not
them.
look as good as other teams is because the other teams have a little bit better players, but they're still like, let's say the worst team in the NFL right now is what, the Jets.
Yes. You take
Okay.
the worst. The
If the
54th
Jets played
athlete-
Alabama, the Jets would win by 75-10.
and we
Probably.
can say now you can make the argument that back in the 30s they actually played the NFL played the
Yeah.
top college, the
in
national
30s.
championship.
In the
But
30s.
that was in the 30s
Yeah.
when the best
Right.
of the best did not play
Right.
in the NFL. You have the
Because of segregation.
the 52nd
Well,
the 52nd
yeah.
I mean,
guy.
yeah.
No, well, and that's because, and they did
They
make
weren't
the
letting
argument
everybody
that
play.
the NFL at the time, the professional football leagues did not allow African Americans to play. The college levels did,
Right.
and that's when the college national championship started winning those games. Okay,
Well, that's why when you watch
Right.
an NFL team, like they're not all Alabama players and
Right.
Clemson players and Ohio State
Right.
players, Michigan players. There's a lot from. They'll have random linemen from Kent State, from
Correct.
San Diego
Right.
State.
Yeah, okay, so that's a question I have. What percentage of college players that want to go into the NFL actually make it into the NFL? 1%?
1%.
It's very, very low.
It's 1%.
Which
Okay.
No, I'm
Two-
sorry. Isn't it 5%?
It might be it's
DJ?
higher
It's-
than that. It's higher.
it doesn't matter. It's low. It's really
It's
low.
low.
But to that point, and I'm not arguing anymore because I mean I disagree with you guys, but I understand where you're coming from. But
You're allowed
Woody
your
just
opinion.
Woody just argued my point was back in the 30s they didn't let everybody play. They still don't because it's still all men. So
Okay,
we
but-
don't know. Wait,
Honestly,
but
Jeff,
we don't-
we
my point is
allowed-
we don't
guys,
know.
Guys,
We don't
hold
know.
on a second.
Women are allowed, Jeff. They're allowed
Right. That was going to be my point.
in
If
every sport.
there was a player,
There's no
a
rule.
female player that was way better than
She'd play.
99% of all the men, they would let her play. They would
Yes.
hire her.
Yes, which
Yes.
and that's
But they
exactly
don't.
my point. That's
It just
exactly my
hasn't happened
point
yet.
because we don't have enough in the lower ranks that build up. We just don't do that yet. So even though they're allowed, they don't because we don't have Pee Wee League females playing. I mean, we do now. We've got a couple. We don't have middle school, high school.
We've had
college.
basketball
They
and
don't.
softball.
We have.
and-
There's a few. I'm not
Okay.
saying there aren't any. I'm just saying there's only a handful, so we really can't compare until we get a actual sample
All right,
set
okay.
of people to do it. So
I will
we
give
just don't
this
know.
to you. I will give this to you, Jeff. There may be
A
a
few.
female athlete that is just a complete
Yeah.
freak of athletics, okay?
Right.
That, yes, could compete in a
Yeah, of
male-dominated league. I'm not saying that it will never happen or that
Right.
it shouldn't happen, okay?
No, and I don't think he did. I
But if you
did not take
take
it that way at all.
the top 100 football players in the world,
Right.
that female is not going to be in the top 100. Does that
No, I get that, and I'm not arguing that at all. My whole point was, you guys are saying that a woman could never be that good, but there could be. We just don't give them the chance.
Sure,
Is my
Okay,
whole
okay,
point.
what I
We
meant
don't
to
give
say,
them
I
that
didn't say a
chance to
woman-
get there.
I didn't say a woman could. Well, if I did, I misspoke. I didn't say a woman could never be that good. I'm saying it'll never be the norm where
Yeah,
four
I
girls
mean,
are
I
on
don't
the
disagree with
diamond
that.
on a
I
Major League
don't
Baseball.
disagree with that because I've watched women's softball, and they would crush the shit out of most men's softball players because
well, yes,
they-
they would.
fucking
Because
Christ, they're
men don't
amazing.
play fast pitch.
You're right.
Yeah.
And men
I mean-
play slow pitch softball,
Yeah,
you know.
They play baseball.
And they've put actually Major League Baseball players in the
Right.
batter's box to go against a female
Oh, and they can't hit it.
They-
Yeah.
hit it,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it's all
we can't either.
baseball predicated on
Well,
timing. And
Yeah. it's
Okay, so
timing.
baseball's not a
Timing's
contact sport. So George,
Yeah,
do you
it
think
can
that
be. It can be.
is it just being able to hit the ball far? I mean, is that the
Yes.
no, I think like if you had if you legitimately had a female athlete that was going to excel in something, baseball would be it. Because
there is
baseball-
one. Isn't she like
Yeah.
Canadian or something? And they said she's like the closest thing to making it to the major leagues. This was about 3-4 years ago.
I'm not 100% sure, but I
think
mean,
a
by far,
shortstop.
baseball would be because it's a skill set, and it is
Right.
a skill set that's set on not so much being physical. You don't have to be the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. You can
Right.
be a contact hitter and everything like that. Absolutely. Could I see a female breaking into the ranks of baseball? Yes. Could I see a female breaking into the ranks of soccer? Yes.
Yeah.
But not in the NFL and not in basketball.
In the NFL as a kicker.
why basketball?
Because
puncher.
basketball, you have these guys that are going toe to toe, just going to the boards
It's super
and everything.
physical.
It is super ass physical. You have guys that are, 6'8", 250, 260 pounds, LeBron James is 280 pounds, you
Yeah.
know, just slamming into, and LeBron James doesn't have an ounce of fat on him, you know,
Right.
and he is hitting you, you know, Shaquille O'Neal or, you know, any number of Nate
Spud
Robinson
Webb.
is very small, but he's faster and he would be
Spud Webb.
stronger than a female that would be his size at that time. I'm not saying that I don't believe that there are not elite female athletes. There are by far,
Yeah.
but when you're talking realistically, it hasn't happened yet, so it's
Right.
probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I just go back to the fact that there is no rule in any of these sports saying it's male only, and yet a woman to this point has never made it.
Yeah.
Do you think
They're
that like
allowed.
do you think that it, eventually, like I'm talking maybe 1,000, 2,000 years into the future, like we're going to evolve to the point where we're all more,
Maybe.
you know, I mean, because we've held women back for how many thousands of years? you
No,
know?
you're
Right.
probably
Right.
right.
Yeah.
And I think I could see like in 50,000 years, we could evolve into basically one sex, you know?
Yeah.
And where they've taken actual intercourse out of reproduction, because then you can just genetically modify people, you know.
Sounds
to be-
like my marriage.
And that's,
Perfect.
That's not a future I want to be a part of. Damn it! Fuck that. Yeah, they call
So-
it marriage. It's already been done.
Yeah, right.
So no, I think it would be, yes. To answer the short question is yes, I could see that.
Yeah.
The holding women back, you're correct. It's only been what 100 years,
Yeah.
in the whole, you know,
Yeah.
which actually kind of ties into the fact that I called Woody up, okay? One, to see how he was feeling. Two, because I had talked to my brother. And I'll bring this up, and if we go over the hour,
real
we
quick,
can-
real quick, to see how he was doing. This is how the phone call went. Hey, how's it going? Well, hey, now that we got that out of the way, let me tell you about what I was talking to my brother about.
Sure. Like I care. I didn't want to seem like a woman. No, I'm kidding. No, I had this talk with my brother, and he had said during the course of our conversation, you know, if I'm not talking politics with the kid, he's great. Okay. And basically he said, and I can't remember what exactly him and I were talking about.
Well, you started
away.
with the Wonder Years.
Well, no, and he mentioned this, and that left me dumbfounded. And actually, if you guys think about this, the Wonder Years, okay, started in 1988, okay, and it was supposed to be 1968 to
Right.
what is it, 1973, okay.
Yeah, I've heard this before, George.
The Wonder Years went taking it to the point of when it was created and what it was representing was a smaller gap than 9/11 is
Yeah.
right now.
That if they make the Wonder Years today, it'd be like over 9/11.
It's insane. So
Yeah.
think about like, and I think this is what I was talking to Jim about, is how fast things happen in our lives, you know?
Right.
Because I said, my God, this year's gone so quick. Well, it's gone quick because we're getting older.
Right.
Obviously, if you think about day to day, this year's been very slow
Yeah.
and stressful.
Yeah, if you ask
Yep.
my kid who's 11 years old and in
Yes.
5th grade and doing schoolwork from home,
Oh yeah.
you know,
It's-
how fast has this year gone by? He's going to say that it was the longest year of his life.
Correct.
Right.
But it blew my mind that when Wonder Years in 1988 was put out, and it was to represent 20 years prior,
Right.
okay, that it blew me away that it was at that time when it came out, it was a shorter
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
than-
It's kind of the same thing, George, is like when the Challenger exploded.
Yeah.
That was closer to the moon landing than we are to
Holy.
the Challenger.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was 1987, correct?
86.
Okay.
86.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
That was closer to the moon landing than we are to the Challenger. So
I remember
Christ.
I remember when I was in like I think it was like 1st grade. We watched like, they put us all in the room, and we were watching footage of the moon landing, and I thought at that time that it was going on right now, and I did. I had no idea.
Like,
I was like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We watched that same thing, and I remember saying, "How'd it fit through the door?" And I was talking about Rover. At that point, I was like, "This is bullshit." I go, "It's a Hollywood studio. Moon landing's a hoax." Yeah, I mean, even since I was a little kid, I wondered how'd that lunar module get through the door.
God.
I mean, I
since
was
that
6 years old when I was watching it, like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
since that show, I've seen looked at a lot of conspiracy theorists about the moon landing. It would have cost more money to make a fake of the moon landing than it cost to put them on the moon at the time. At the time, because of the stuff they had to do it, they didn't have it. They're like, it would have been insanely expensive to do this.
Well,
like way more than launch a fucking rocket.
Here's the thing.
And flat.
And
Don't forget it's flat.
Clouds come. The Earth is small from the moon. The Earth should still be large. Okay. Compared to the photograph. The photograph of the Earth from the moon.
You know that this.
Go ahead.
This podcast was supposed to be about the Electoral College and
No.
actually be our
No,
first
it's just
timely podcast, and we could
All right,
have
fine.
hashtagged it and actually got some listens.
Never
We'll-
went there.
We'll give you the Cliff's Notes.
Trump
We'll
2020.
give you the Cliff's Notes.
Oh,
Trump
Get
2020.
on the train, boys.
Well, there you go. Because
Good luck with that.
in what is today's date? We've got 3 weeks. 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, the Electoral College votes. We'll see which way they decide to go. There
Here's
it
what
is.
we'll do then. Next
There it
week, we do the Electoral College.
Good. Do some research,
I
gentlemen.
probably work.
Nah. He's got to go vote in the Electoral College.
Well, let
Okay,
me ask
so-
you this. Do you like the Electoral College, DJ?
No.
Why
it's
not?
It's extremely outdated.
Yeah.
It gives states like Wyoming a bigger voice than California.
Well, it doesn't give Wyoming a bigger voice than California, because California's got 54 Electoral College votes.
Yeah, but
opposed to
California
Wyoming's 1.
but California has 40 million people.
Okay.
I'm so impressed with
But-
George.
But this is the
and
other
Wyoming
thing.
has 3.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
they're-
understand. But what I'm saying
Don't be
is
too impressed with
the
it.
Electoral College puts that in perspective, where
No,
there
they
are,
don't.
say,
It
No,
doesn't.
40
That's
million.
the problem.
40
No, they
million very liberal Californians.
No,
and
they
very
don't
liberal
put
New
they
Yorkers.
don't put it into perspective.
Yes,
There's
they
That's
do.
an
the
elector-
problem. No, they don't. The
What is the
percentages
math?
are way off.
Okay,
they're
okay,
way
guys.
off.
Here's what it is they put it in perspective for like 1911.
Yes,
Right.
and have never
Yeah,
updated
it's
it.
way
And
outdated.
Never updated. That's
They-
that's the big problem with it.
That's not entirely true. They do update it, but they haven't kept it into the same percentages. So, like, instead of everybody getting a vote, it's half or like a third of the people in
Okay.
California get the same vote as 3.
Here's a real
in
quick. They're not
Wyoming,
totally
but
exact numbers. They're ballparked, but for every 100,000 people, 150,000 people in Wyoming, you get an elector.
Yes,
In California, it's every 700,000 people get an elector.
but it's put into percentage perspective.
No,
No.
that is the percentage.
That is
Yeah.
the percentage.
Because
1 to 1,000,
California's
1 to
got, like,
7,000.
50-something.
It's
I think it's
So it's like-
54.
right.
54. I put it in as 56, so it's 54. That's even worse than. So it's like 700 for every 750,000 people, you get 1 elector, whereas in Wyoming, every 100,000 people get an elector. That's
Because people in
disproportionate.
Wyoming are a lot smarter than the liberals in California.
Yeah. Remember that area in Wyoming where they come up with all the computer designs and everything,
Yeah.
and have all those elite
Yeah, they-
hospitals.
You know, like California's got Silicon Valley. Wyoming's got
Is it in Wyoming?
And that's it.
Cows.
Is it in Wyoming
Cows.
where they elected a dog as mayor of some town?
Probably.
Wait,
and it's still illegal to hunt whales from a helicopter in Montana. So
I've got.
no, we should do the Electoral College because I see I see we're on opposite sides of the fence on this one.
Well, God, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do it next week.
It's okay. Just
Damn
call
it.
off work. You're
or
doing
call
it
in
for
from work.
America.
Do it
Right.
from work.
There
We
you
could
go.
do it.
Could, like,
actually,
like Jeff. Jeff does it from work
even
every
if
time.
it's after the electoral college votes, we could still do because there's
Yeah.
it's going to be Martin conspiracy.
I've been
okay?
working every Sunday. That's the problem. Could we do something later in the day?
Yeah.
We could, or we could do a Saturday if you're sober.
Right.
We could do.
We'll figure it out
Friday
after
of
the
week
show.
if you want.
You
Whoa,
can have an Uber
if-
to the bar and gotten
If
hammered.
that's
Yeah.
the stipulation, we're not doing Saturdays.
My
all
problem,
right?
my problem is I'm on. We had Tasha quit, and I've been working every day. And
Oh.
this is the very first weekend that I had off because it's Thanksgiving and the shop's
Oh,
closed.
and you spend it with us. That's nice.
Do you want to? Do you want to do it
Fuck the
later?
kids.
But I'm on afternoons.
I'll
But
tell you what. Let's.
Sunday I'm working like 11 to 3. But I'm
How
on
about-
afternoons every other day.
Okay.
Well, we'll figure it out after the show. We're still
Okay.
recording.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Oh, we
'Cause
could
I'd
do
like to
that.
get it. I'd like to get it at a time that you obviously can record.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
'cause
Okay, well, let's get back to the topics of the show. George, I really
We're
like
almost
that
done,
whole Wonder
Is that
Years. You know, like think about how life was different in
20 years ago?
68 as opposed to 88, and then
Right. Yes.
how life is different between 2020 and 2000.
Right.
You
It's-
know, like
it's
Yeah.
almost like we hit like a, boom, you know.
No, there's
no,
there's a lot
it's
that
not.
changed.
I thought
George.
that too, George.
It changed so slow you didn't realize it. iPads, smartphones.
Right. Think about what kind of a phone you had in 2000. I didn't. I had a pager in 2000.
Right.
I had a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
In
But
2000.
look what your phone can do
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a
I got a phone when I was
I had a
18 years
Nokia
old.
phone in
Well, Jeff
in
had a
97.
Jeff had a fucking cell phone in '93, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
But
That's
like
one of those
most people,
Big ass fucking.
Yeah, bricks.
It was an AT&T phone. It was like this big. I couldn't even put it in my pocket. I had to carry it.
That's awesome.
You know,
and it was
like an
10
iPhone
cents
10.
a minute, wasn't it? 10 cents a minute.
Oh God, it was more than that. It was like 14 cents a minute. I had to wait till after 9 o'clock to make phone calls because then it was free.
I had the Telego. That's the same thing
Christ.
I had.
Yeah, the
Oh,
9
I
o'clock
remember-
thing, that lasted for a while.
Yeah.
I remember being at the pool hall and your mom calling you. Like she was the only one that had the number.
You're like, Jeff, your ass is ringing. I'm like, what? Because it didn't vibrate. It just flashed.
So, Woody,
couldn't hear it.
Woody, are you guys saying that more has happened between 2000
If you
and
really
now
start
than
to
1968?
to 88, yeah, if you really start to think about it, because like I was right with you at very first. I was like, wow, my life hasn't changed much between 2000 and 2020. But then I'm like, wait, no, it really, really has.
Look what
Like
we're
the-
doing right now. We could
Yeah,
not have
absolutely.
This in 2000.
This was right. This
Well,
was
you couldn't do it in 68 either. I mean,
right,
Well,
but 68,
true.
88,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
how much did the average person's life change? You know, like your average working guy, he would, you know, I mean, I don't think his life changed greatly between 68 to 88, you know, at all. It's like we had some major advantages as far as like space travel and things like that, but that's more for the whole human race.
Yeah.
But your average person's life really didn't change a whole lot in those 20 years. Whereas I think now think of the cars we had in 2000 as opposed to what we've got now.
I've still
You know?
got one.
No, but I mean,
Well-
think of the cars between 68 and 88. Yeah, they got
Right.
a little smaller and stuff, but like
Sure.
we actually kind of downgraded in cars
Right.
in that time frame. But since
You're
then,
absolutely right. In
we've
the 70s,
upgraded
we
again.
did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's-
we've
here's a-
upgraded again, and now we're starting to go electric,
Right.
and we got cars that are like faster than anything that's ever been built.
Here's a good example to what Woody said about working, like the average person working. If I were doing my job in the 80s as opposed to now, I would be standing at a giant drawing board with pencils and rulers.
Yeah,
But I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm on the computer all day.
right.
and I can
his
do it from
his
anywhere.
job is technically in Texas,
Yeah.
and he's in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work in Texas technically. So
And I'm going to dox him. I'm going to put out his actual address.
Yeah,
No, I can see where you're coming from. So I'll tell you what, as a show idea after our electoral college one, why don't we do I'll go through and list I'll take 1968 to 88, okay? And I'll take the major events that happened there, okay? And one of you guys take from 2000
I can't go through
to
Elvis
2000.
dying again.
He's not dead. Let's do that. I'll like Woody. Do you want to be on my team, and then you two?
Yeah, that's fine. I can do
Sure.
68 to 88. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't want to go with like major. I want to know like how your average guy, how
Sure.
his life changed.
Well, you
know,
can still
in
look at
between.
that. I mean,
Well, yes, and we'll go from 68 to 88, and you guys go from 2000 to 2020. How's that sound?
okay. Is this like homework?
Yeah.
It is. It is.
It's
homework.
going to be literally the first podcast we've done where we actually have to do research.
And
Wow.
honest to God, in like a year and a half, it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is.
I was saying,
Which-
it's not the first ever, but it's been a while.
Which another
right.
big event. Speaking of events and topics, we've got to go back to the Curse of Oak Island. They found
Yes.
shit. Holy cow! I'm not getting into it. I haven't watched it. Don't
This
tell
year?
me. Yes, they
Nah.
just found shit.
Nothing.
Like they
Woody's
found
been
something.
watching it, I don't
shut
think.
it. I don't want to
Yeah,
know, but it's been hyped up, and they actually found something they were looking for. So they don't know if they're going to go on to another season. They might have decided since the last time I looked. But it's a good thing to go back to. Just saying. But
Wow.
after all our other stuff.
Did they
So-
find something significant, Woody? Just say yes or no.
Oh.
No, did they find something? Did they
Ruined
find
it.
something that you're going to be like, holy shit? No, absolutely not. Did they find
Ah.
something that they can put into? They can stretch out into 5 shows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Awesome.
like every other find.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that show. I don't give a fuck. I don't
I
care.
like
still
it
watch
too.
That's great.
God, I love it.
Drives me crazy.
Curse of Oak Island or Ancient Aliens? Great.
Curse of Oak Island. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
It's a
like
tough
really
call.
good.
I like both of them. They're both good. All
Like,
right.
I've never missed. I can't say I've never missed because so far there's been one show this season, maybe 2, but I will catch them up. I've watched every single Oak Island. I haven't seen every single Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
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 You know, I'll
I'm
tell
gonna
you
go watch
the,
Ancient Aliens now.
the things that got me through that whole COVID, having to be at home, and was those
Your
George
loving
face
family, right?
George. No, absolutely not. George face swap, like all those face swap things that George did.
That's
Oh,
my
they're-
wife and
oh
that's
my
my
God.
kid. Just
They're
abusing
well,
me with
they're
reface.
amazing because it's those.
Yeah, they're horrible people.
Those got me through.
You know
It's a
who
rough
the
time.
best face swapper I've found yet is?
Who dat?
Anne.
Oh, yeah, she's-
A-N-N-E.
Yeah,
She's
I haven't
pretty
seen
good.
anything that she's put out there.
She's amazing.
I heard,
Freaking amazing.
I
have
heard
no idea.
JD's pretty
Yeah,
good
she
at
was
it,
like, what?
But-
JD's not bad. Anne
Yeah.
is like the queen.
but he blocked me, so I don't. We're not friends on social media anymore.
I'm gonna send you guys something Anne did in a little bit.
All right.
But not only that, I found, and I know I'm way behind times on this, but I just found him, Ozzy Man Reviews.
Oh my God, he's
Oh
so
my
good.
god, dude! That's
Fucking addicted to that shit.
No idea.
Years.
I
Oh,
know, it's
Sheila's going to
fantastic because-
Freddie.
Right, it's fantastic because I've got years of content to go through now.
Oh,
I have
so
no idea what
amazing.
you're talking about.
He's so good.
Oh, you gotta
On
look.
Destination
up
Fucked.
reviews.
I
Destination.
he-
love it. But
Is he a
it gets-
YouTuber?
It gets a little.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber, and they're like 3
Oh
to
yeah, I
4
won't
minute,
watch that shit.
3 to 4 minute clips. It's just some
No.
guy from Australia, like just
No.
talking about these videos he's watching, and they're fucking
good.
hilarious.
I absolutely refuse to watch somebody watching something. It's
No,
just
I'm
no.
telling you,
don't care.
He takes it to another level, man.
That's
It's
what
kinda
everybody
like-
says about everybody, and it's
You've
always
seen the Honey
just
Badger
stupid.
video, right?
no,
yeah,
I
and I
don't think I've
hated
seen
it.
that one.
See, it's
Oh my
like
Hated
God.
it. Is it
Honey
that guy?
Badger's great.
no, it's not that
Right?
bad.
It's.
But I'm saying it's like it's done like that, where he's like narrating a nature video.
I mean, the Honey Badger is funny. Like that guy's kind of funny, but like I will not sit and watch that over
Oh,
and over.
you don't know what
'cause
you're
it's
missing. It's
Like, oh, this has been a fun 5 minutes. I'm done now. I just don't. I don't get into that.
Ozzy Man
Sorry.
just cracks me up.
It's like
man.
YouTube will never be my thing because I don't like the short.
You
wanna
are
watch
a
a
different
show.
bird, Jeff.
I am. I'm old fashioned. I'm gonna go read my newspaper. Drink my coffee.
Maybe Jeff should do the 68 to 88.
I'm gonna
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
sit in my Edsel and go get some leaded gasoline.
Jeff
Leaded gasoline.
Jeff did have a car. He had to add lead to his gas. Was that
And it's
68 Chrysler or something?
67 Chrysler Custom Newport. I could fit a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of plywood in the trunk.
We did.
Oh
And that's not a
God.
lie.
Not a joke.
We had
We
a
did.
chalkboard, a 4-foot by 8-foot chalkboard. We put in the trunk and closed the trunk.
In the trunk. Yeah.
Holy
It was
crap!
fucking
and Jeff-
amazing.
Jeff was smaller than he is now, and it was like those leather seats. He'd make a turn and he'd go sliding across the fucking seat. The steering wheel was like a ship steering wheel.
Because it was a 67. The seat belt was
Gigantic.
non-existent. It was.
Oh
I had
my
to put
God.
both feet on the brakes and push against the seat to stop
That's
because it had no power brakes.
He
I'm
had
like,
to sit on pillows just to see over the steering wheel.
That's
it
so
was-
good.
It
that thing
great.
was.
George, watch that in a minute. When we're done
Okay.
recording, we can all watch that.
All right, sounds
It's
good.
real
Right.
quick.
Does anybody else have anything before we close it out?
No, I
No,
think I'm
but
good.
Nope,
I'm
just
gonna go
the,
do homework.
the zombie COVID minx. Did you guys hear about that?
Nice. No.
No.
You guys didn't hear about
Oh
the
yes, I did.
Daryl
I did.
sent us
Somebody
something
it was
about
in the repository.
Yeah, yeah, about these minks in Oregon got COVID, and they started dying of COVID, and for some reason their
Well, they
bodies
weren't
would start
dying.
to. Well, no, they were dying. They were dead, but their bodies would start to like expand with the gases, and they buried so many of them at one time they didn't bury them deep enough that they started popping back up out of the ground.
Oh my god! So they would just bloat with like virus gas?
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
pretty much. Yeah, with just your normal gases that build up in your body when you die, and but because they weren't buried deep enough, they would just.
Yeah, it's not a COVID thing.
Well, the whole COVID thing is too many of them died at one time for them to take
Right.
the time to bury all of them deep. That's why it was.
So, do you think in 1968 they would have figured out how to bury?
A mink.
So yeah, they
Deep.
started popping up out of the ground.
Popcorn.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Oh,
It's
shit.
almost as terrifying as there's a a parasite that gets into a ant, like these ants.
Oh, we're gonna talk about this
Yeah,
guy
girl I
again.
work
Yes.
with is going over this.
They
Yeah,
eat their bodies.
and take
Yep.
over their brains and
Yeah.
start controlling their legs and stuff.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how they feed themselves. They get the ants to go eat, and then they take in the nutrients so they can grow and just burst out of them. It's awesome.
God, it's
Yeah,
terrifying.
you want to see it in like human time. Go to a Trump rally.
Oh! I thought you were going to talk about
You.
that cat disease that makes you buy more cats.
Yes.
Thanks,
No, there
DJ.
is.
There
We
is.
just
No,
lost.
there is.
Yeah, there's like a virus that'll live in a cat that if
Makes
you
you
get
buy
it
more
into
cats.
you, yeah,
Well, it's in cat poop.
is that what it
Yes.
is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was worms.
Toximish something. It's Tasha knows the word.
Yeah.
Is that cat scratch fever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Got it.
whoa, this
When I
has been a
was just-
long show here, guys.
10 years old.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was just.
Got
thinking.
it from some kitty next
Toxoplasticity.
door.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It just came to me.
Nice.
I make that pussy
And thanks
purr
to
with
DJ.
stroking my
After this
hand.
episode, we're gonna lose. we're gonna lose 2 listeners from that comment, fucker.
We'll lose 47 mil. Or no, I'm 74 million.
Two,
But
two
you know what?
listeners,
We're-
and if
we're
wait,
gonna
and if
keep
they're
80.
in Wisconsin, we're gonna lose 2 listeners and 85 electors. Fuck, I don't know what we're gonna do there.
If we did the Democrats,
on.
we would probably lose at least 8 to 12 million dead votes.
Ooh,
How are those court cases coming?
they've all been
They're
thrown
trying to
out.
prove-
Every
They're
one of
coming
them.
just fine because
Oh,
once
are
they
they?
go to the actual Supreme Court,
They're
Real
not. They've
quick
been
before we
thrown
get off.
and then the
out.
other
Real quick
thing is,
before we get off.
now hold on. Now I will say this: when he stretches it out and it has to go to Congress, who's going to win? Who's got the majority?
Okay, listen.
It's going to be
The Supreme, they keep saying they got all this evidence they're gonna release,
The
and
Kraken.
they're waiting for the Supreme Court,
We're going to release it.
right? Right?
It's going to be huge.
Am I right?
Yeah.
No.
They keep saying it. They keep saying it.
They
You're
keep
not gonna-
saying it.
you're
You
not gonna- you're not-
cannot. You cannot bring new evidence to the
To
Supreme
the
Court.
Supreme Court.
It's an appeals court.
Yep.
whatever evidence is already brought forward in the trials, they can take to the Supreme Court. But there
Minor
hasn't been
technicality.
any.
Minor.
Yeah, but real minor.
It's gonna be huge.
Bigly
Well,
huge.
in 2016, he called this amount of win a landslide.
It's a landslide.
306 to 232.
We're gonna win bigly,
Okay.
dude. It's gonna be
That-
out of control.
It's-
We're gonna be in a giant riot. I think the
No,
longer
we're
it
not.
goes, the harder it is
Oh yeah,
going to
All
be
these
for him.
states have certified, though.
the longer doesn't matter. He's drawn it out, and the longer he keeps doing it, the worse it's going to be.
Oh, yeah,
Because
I agree. Because
so many people believe
people
what
are
he's
gonna believe
saying,
him.
and it's
Yeah.
just nuts. Like,
I know.
yeah,
I know.
You've handled yourself very, very good, DJ.
yep.
Thank you.
You didn't say what you said in our text messages or anything out for the public, so you've done very good.
What did I say in the text message?
Don't say it.
All right, I'm
I'll
calling.
tell you off
care.
air.
All right. So, and on that note, bye everybody.
I don't care.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody, have a great
All right.
one.
All right.
Later.
DJ, I respect your opinion.
But not you.
Hold on. But not me. Oh, I gotta export this audio. What are we
Wait.
calling this?
Are we done?
Wait,
Did we call
We're
it?
done.
Apparently.
We said
Oh,
bye.
you shut it down, so I'm gonna get the last word. DJ's wrong. Everybody have a great night. Peace. See you guys.
What are we calling it?
Later. Fuck.